Yesterday, somebody said, "Hey, Lee, can you talk more about social media management?" I don't think I've really ever heard you talk about it outside of just mentioning it as a white labeled service that you offer. And I thought, you know what? I don't really talk that much about social media management. So let's dive into it today in 3 different ways. First, there's really 2 different strategies to talk about. So we'll talk about strategy. Then I'm going to give you 9 different content types that we focus on when doing local social, like social media management for local businesses. And then third, what kinds of businesses are best for this? Because some different niches make it easier on you than others. And so we'll talk about that too. So with that in mind, let's start with the strategy, because I think that's probably the most controversial aspect of what it is that we do. And there's really 2. So I think if you were to ask most local business owners, why would you want to be on social media? They'd probably say, I want to grow an audience. I want to reach new clients. I want more customers, something like that, like some kind of organic growth because of social media. And you can definitely do that. The problem is most local businesses don't have anywhere near the budget to create enough content to hit the social post velocity that they need to actually grow an organic audience. So for example, on Facebook, if you're trying to grow an audience organically, our recommendation is to do at least 1 or 2 posts per day. Like not per week, but like 1 or 2 per day. Instagram, at least 1 feed post and maybe 2 to 5 stories per day. Twitter, like 5 to 30 posts a day, like 30 posts a day. Like Twitter, the tweets just go by so fast. So you need to have a lot of them out there. Pinterest is sort of the same way, like up to 30 posts per day if you were focusing on Pinterest. TikTok, 3 or 4 posts per day. That's a lot of content. That's a lot of posts. It takes a lot to manage all of that. The budget needs to be in the thousands of dollars per month in order to manage a post velocity at that level, which is what I think is required for organic growth, because you want the platform to think there's so much great content coming out of this channel that I'm going to use this content to engage and reach new clients or new customers so they stay longer on the platform. Now, if you're just doing like 1 post a week or maybe 2 or 3 posts per week, I don't think you're going to see that level of response on the platform. So I don't think it's realistic to think that you're going to grow a brand new audience. But what you can do is you can nurture the audience you already have, and you can use other ways to grow the audience. Like for example, lead magnets on your website and inviting people that are on your email list and so forth to start following you on social too. So there's a bunch of different ways to drop people into your social channels other than trying to achieve organic growth on the platform. And once they're in there, like once you have followers, then what you can do is you can use a social media marketing strategy to nurture those leads into paying clients. And so our primary strategy for local social is like a lead nurturing process. Like how do you take these followers and convert them into customers? And if there already are customers, how do you take those customers and convert them into repeat buyers? And if they already are repeat buyers, how do you increase the buying velocity? And that's what we do with our social media strategy. And we use 9 different categories of content to actually make it happen. So here are the 9 categories that we focus on. I'm going to try to go through them real quick so it doesn't take forever. But the first one is long form excerpts. So if the client has long form content, which could be webinars or podcasts, or maybe they wrote a book, anything like that, we'll take nuggets of information from the long form content and then share that across their social media platforms. And that way you can reach a larger audience that way with kind of these nuggets. And then you can say in the nugget, hey, if you actually like this, then click here to actually read the whole book or to watch the podcast or whatever it might be. So you can actually use the nuggets to drive more traffic to the long form content too. And that's a really great way to kind of repurpose some of the content that they already have. The second one is sharing other people's content, like shared content. So if you're a local business, it's great to share the post from other local businesses for 2 reasons. One reason, it actually shows your audience that you're connected with the whole community, you know what's going on, and that builds trust and authority. But then the other reason is, the other business, you're helping them out now too. Because like you're taking your audience and saying, hey, there's a new event, there's a new location, a new gym, a new ice cream shop, like whatever else is going on in the community, you're pointing people to that other business and helping them too. And I love it when it's like everybody's winning. Plus, a lot of times that other business that you're sharing their content for, they'll kind of feel like this need for reciprocity and they'll start sharing your content too. And that's great. So like, I love it when that happens. So that's shared content. Testimonials is the next one. Obviously, it's a great idea from time to time to share some success stories and testimonials from your past clients. And that can be encouraging and inspirational and it's fun. And it's another thing too, is like if you were to share a testimonial with somebody, like tag that person in that post and then they'll be like, hey, look, yeah, I just bought this new car or whatever, depending on who the client or your client does. It's like a lot of times people in the testimonials, feel happy about being mentioned, and they'll share the post with their friends and people on their following as well. And that can kind of grow your reach too. Educational content is another really big one. So with educational content, this would be, what is it? Some like nuggets of information that are different and unique and special, like different from the mainstream. So like, why would I want to work with your client instead of just an average everyday person that does that's kind of in the same industry? And this is really helpful. And this is also where the client selection comes in. So like if you haven't picked a niche or you're trying to figure out what niches are the best, go ahead and download Local Market Gems. You got like over 30 different examples of great local industries that make it easy on you to create content like this. So, but here's the two reasons why educational content is so good. One, it helps people understand what's different and unique about you, and that pushes those clients to taking that next step, like to booking the call, to coming in. It's like they begin to understand, oh yeah, that really is what I want. But then the second thing is, when they do come in, it's faster and easier to onboard those people as paying customers because they're better qualified and better educated. So like all the questions that you normally would ask, like in an onboarding conversation, or FAQs from your website, or common questions that come in over the phone, or just a lot of times your client will know, everybody wants to know about this thing. We'll start sharing that information on social so that when they come in, you don't have to have the same conversation over and over all the time. You've got better qualified, better educated clients, which are more likely to enroll or become customers, and they do it faster because you don't have to answer all these questions that they already know the answers to. So educational content is huge, and inspirational content is the next one. And inspirational content, testimonials are kind of inspiring because you see other people having success and that's fun. But what I'm talking about here with inspirational content is more about encouragement and support, like how you help people. Not so much necessarily just testimonials, but more like encouraging and supportive content. And then the next one after that is promotional posts. So like if you've got new products, sales, seasonal discounts, coupons that are exclusively available to your social media audience, stuff like that. Occasionally it's a great idea to post those types of things because especially the combination of promotional posts and educational content, that combination is like, oh wow, that really is what I want. And here's a promotion that's going to help me get in at a discounted price. That really does a good job at nurturing your social media following into becoming customers. Then there's news, and there's two different types of news that we look at. News would be like, if you have a new, it could be like business news, like local news to you, which would be like you've got a new location, you've hired new people, you've got new products to announce, stuff like that, like stuff that's going on in your business, awards that you've won, certifications, achievements that you've accomplished, different types of recognition, just stuff that's going on. It could even be announcing news from other businesses too. Like, hey, there's this really cool event going on, or there's like music happening at the restaurant down the street. Like you can post news, like local news like that. But then there's also more like broader news as well. So for example, and a lot of this again depends on what the client does that you're doing social for, but a lot of times there's like new rules or regulations or new taxes or just things that you might need to be aware of at large, depending on what's going on. Like say you're working with somebody who files taxes or whatever. Well, maybe there's some new rules about, self-employment discounts or something like that might be helpful for taxes. And that'd be more like a national news topic, but it's also pertinent to these customers. So all that's to say is you got like the local kind of my own business kind of news, but also national news. And that also underscores your authority, like what's going on, you're always up to date, you're just like, you're the go-to resource for when it comes to anything in your space. And then the last one is created content. So we'll actually create some content for our clients because a lot of times they're doing local SEO with us in addition to social media management. And that means we're creating stuff like blog posts and lead magnets. And so we'll take some content from the content that we create, like these little nuggets, share that on social, and then drive people back to, get the lead magnets or read the blog posts and stuff like that. So that's kind of the whole idea behind everything. And again, the types of clients that you select make a huge difference. So for example, it's really hard to do this kind of stuff for like dumpster rentals or like everyday electricians, it's just like, what is the news? It's not very exciting. Whereas if it's more like health and wellness or financial stuff, that can make a really big difference. So make sure that you download Local Market Gems. It's totally free, and there's over 30 different examples of the niches that I think are the best right now. And also check out this video over here, and I have a whole video on picking the easy niches that make this kind of content creation much easier on you. So check that out next. I'll see you right there.